my name is John Vu. For my research, I did water remediation with microalgae at the Universidad del Norte. So the main thing that we were working on at the Universidad del Norte was we were trying to clean chemicals and tar from the water using algae. And so the chemical that we tried to remove was phenol. And phenol is a chemical that is found in paint or disinfectants, and it's pretty common to find in the waters in Colombia. And the tar was from a gasification system that they were working on at the Universidad del Norte. So the tar from that system, they were trying to figure out a way to remove it, and they were trying to see if they can use algae to remove that. And so the type of algae that we used for these research was chlorella. And chlorella was used because it's a very common algae found everywhere, and it's been researched quite a bit. So for the tar, we wanted to use algae from local water. So what we would do is we would collect the algae in the water from a local body of water, and then we would culture that. And so the algae that was inside of that was Navicula, chlorella, and some other species of algae. And so my main job for this research was counting the algae from the test results. And so for the phenol chemical, we would have different solutions with different amounts of phenol, and then we would count the algae every day for about a week and a half. And so for the tar removal, we would also count the algae, and we would also use a chromatography test to see how much tar content there was. And the solutions would also be different concentrations of tar. And so to count the algae, we would use a Neubauer chamber, which is this right here, and we would use it on a microscope. And I would count the amount of algae in each corner and the center, and then I'll multiply that by the total number of squares in the center here to get the total amount of algae. And so after that, we would also do a spectrophotometer test on the algae to see another test to see how much algae is in the water. And so the conclusions that we found were that algae could remove the phenol, but if there was too much in there, it would start to kill the algae, and we weren't sure how the algae removed the phenol. For the tar, it was very similar. So for the tar, that around 10% to 20% tar, it would remove everything. The algae would remove all the tar, and in fact, the algae would begin to grow, and the water would be clear. These are the test results from that test. And so we found that algae removed tar, and algae could remove chemical, but we weren't sure how it was doing that. So that was another thing that we were still trying to figure out. And let's see. So for the phenol test, it is also found, as well as the tar test, that the more chemicals or tar that's in the water, the less the algae will be able to survive. So that is a problem that we ran into. And overall, it was successful. We were able to remove the tar and chemicals. We just needed to find out how that was happening.